I'm curious about the music rights. I hear Judas Priest playing in the background for Heavy Metal Parking Lot from what I've seen online.
Well, music rights was always it's the gray area now. I mean, clearly you have to pay if you want to have it commercially released and have it, with anything you have to really cross the T's and dot the I's. I mean, you're asking for trouble when you don't do that. But since when I do something that is in the gray area that doesn't, do this, I know from jump that it's not commercially distributable. And if anything I'm doing now, I know if there, a lot of my work can't be commercially distributed, but in some cases it can show on PBS, which is fine. They're not paying for it, and it's regional. But every case is different. But the thing that really, or you can put it on TV in some fashion, or certainly put it online. Although they're very strict now about copywritten material on YouTube, and I'm sure other portals as well, and for good reason. I understand, and I think that's just how it is. You can somehow find ways to leapfrog over that, but even you're still asking for trouble. In the case of Heavy Metal Parking Lot, everything got cleared, everything got straightened out when we went on the air. I mean, when we went on TV. At first, though, when it wasn't. It was just kind of given out. We never had a commercial plan for that. It just kind of unfolded. And then when it was being sold, it was kind of on a very, casual, underground basis through just, not major distributors. No major distributor, would touch it until it got cleared. And that's all but you can find other alternative distribution, and you can find other ways to get it out there, whatever you have, if you're willing to take that risk. And that's something you have to, decide yourself as a filmmaker if you want to take that risk. And then if something, if you have maybe something come up where there's a discrepancy, you just have to roll with it and perhaps stop screening something. So. Did
they require you to get errors and omission insurance?
Well, no, who's they?
When you had the distribution deal?
Well, it was already done. I mean, that we weren't involved with it, See, that was it, wasn't, everything was cleared through the air. When we had somebody else clearing it, and went on air, it went on NBC. So they showed it, and they wrote the check that I was not even privy to whoever had the music rights. But, that allowed us to then continue doing what we've been doing with it, which is just distributing it very small scale, and but still it's on Snag Films and the DVD we have, which we made. This was our 2006 20th anniversary DVD, soon to be obsolete as the format goes away, the way of the 8-track, but again, errors and omissions, clearing music, all of that's done the right way. Don't follow my lead. I'm a DIY filmmaker. You have to kind of just, there's a place for this, and there's a, community of us out there. And now, because there's so many ways to share your work through these alternative micro cinemas or venues, Cinefamily, most film festivals are, will show things that don't have everything cleared because they can. I mean, and they're showing it for the distributors. The distributors will then try to maybe work something out. But I think if you're working in copywritten material, it's just a set of challenges that you might not have, the constitution for. I've kind of just built a body of work that is comfortable in the gray area that allows me to do my work in good faith, and realistically knowing that I can't sell it, but I can share it, if that makes sense.
It does. What are some things that other filmmakers should be mindful of if they want to entertain music even if someone says, "Oh, don't worry, I'll sign something."
Well, I mean,
and tell
again,
you."
it kind of depends on what your level of your risk, comfort level is.
Suppose
For
it's
me,
minimal.
if it's minimal, then don't do what I do.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm making the work I'm just compelled and interested in making. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes will borrow copywritten material or use copywritten material, music, or what have you. But there's fair use issues that are prevalent. For documentary, there's a whole fair use movement which bears discussion and exploration. If you're a filmmaker that has copywritten content in your work, but that's not for television or for anything commercial. Patently, I mean, that's for something. If it's a film, I mean, I don't even know I'm not an expert in fair use. I just know it's something that you can explore. Exactly. And most of my work, I don't think would fall under fair use, because it depends on how much is, there's like hip hop, like rap, like sampling, hip hop sampling. It falls into the same category. It's because it depends really on who wants to challenge it. I don't want to, I don't know which way's better or not. I mean, I think for instance, when we made Neil Diamond Parking Lot, we were fortunate to we were in the New York Underground Film Festival, and Neil Diamond's publicist read about it, and she came to the screening, and loved it. But, and said, I'll get this cleared for you. And so she helped us clear it for festival rights, Wow. I mean, so those kind of things can happen. I mean, stuff was in that lucky break. And I think we've, just sometimes we've managed to, I mean, I've hired people. I mean, Ernest Borgnine on the bus, we cleared the rights for that. And I hired somebody to help do that. But ultimately, it depends on what your risk comfort level is, and then how much you want to be, a DIY filmmaker, or one that's, having your work shown at Landmark Cinema. So, I think there's good in both.